Welcome to the series CyberSec, A Way of Life, brought to you by LnDToday and powered by ARCON Tech Solutions. Our leader today is a well-rounded professional with over 20 years of rich industry experience across the industry. He comes with hardcore experience in the financial domain, having worked with companies like Khan and now Tradebulls Securities. His work has been towards transforming the IT portfolio of the companies he has worked with, from planning budgets to creating a roadmap to implementing large-scale IT transformation, product development, and digital marketing. He's here with us today to share his insights on the cybersecurity industry and what the industry holds for the stakeholders in the future. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Ahmed Mitha, CTO at Tradebulls Securities. Thank you, Anis, for joining us today.
Hi, thanks.
Cybersecurity companies are evolving, but so are the attackers. What do you think will be the top 3 to 5 challenges in the next few years?
The rapid adoption of emerging technologies like AI/ML, cloud computing, IoT have added new cyber threats for organizations while adding complexity to existing risks. In cyberspace and especially cybersecurity space, we can't predict what new challenge we'll encounter tomorrow. So predicting new challenges will be difficult. But I'll try to highlight here some of the current and common challenges that most of the organizations are encountering and which I feel they should be focusing on and start working on it immediately. And I'll also try to quickly explain as to how we can deal with some of them. So to start with, first is the work from anywhere culture. It is a new immediate challenge and it's here to stay. Also, we need to secure access of privileged users. Another challenge that we face is doing orchestration and automation of security policies across multiple devices and components. Next is implementing security after the project goes live, that is changing or touching the application code or server and network configuration for including security parameters. Then comes hiring the right security expertise. Then there is surge in the adoption of AI/ML technology by cyber criminals. And that's one of the CyberSec challenges which is taking cyber war between offensive and defensive technologies to a next level. Another very important thing is to confirm and ratify the robustness of the overall organization's cyber security setup from any type of cyber attack. Next is the preparedness of the company's response in case of cyber attack as to how efficiently a company can handle a cyber attack, confining damages to the minimum. And last but not the least, we need to understand as to how to deal with the financial risk in case of a cyber attack. So let's start with the first challenge, and that is work from anywhere. One of the important steps to deal with this challenge is implementation of zero trust security architecture. Nearly 82% of the organizations now intend to permit hybrid working culture, even after the employees start resuming office. This has resulted in an increase in the risk of organizations' exposure to multiple cyber threats. Hence, we need the strategy of deperimeterization, whereby the concept of boundary security is removed, which used to separate network from the internet, and instead create a segmented and multi-layered security system built on encryption and authentication. We are finally at a point what security professionals have been trying to do it for years, and that is to move the controls to the end state. We need to secure the endpoints, and the endpoints include the identity of a user on one side, and on the other side of the pipe there is data. So for us, those two becomes the new parameter. Today most of the policies are at the network end, so now it has to swing back to the endpoint. Next, plan to gradually move from VPNs to zero trust network access. Then plan to go for virtual desktops. Now, managing privileged access is again a challenge that has been faced by most of the organizations during the pandemic period because of the work from home culture. Privileged accounts are the prime targets by cyber criminals. PAM is less of a technology than an approach, and it is different from identity access management. Unauthorized access to privileged account is one of the highest risks, and it can have far-reaching effects on the organization. since it has access to most confidential information. Next, there is a need for security policy orchestration and automation across all products. In order to improve the incident response, we need to integrate different security solutions in order to make them work together and also automate repetitive processes. This way, with the help of orchestration suite, security management can be centralized and streamlined, and also remain compliant to the policies by defining and implementing comprehensive security policy and automating network changes. Now, talking about the next challenge, I am a strong advocate of concept of security as code. In that, security will be part of SDLC. We need to take care of security before the code goes live. For that, security team has to work closely with the DevOps team to make sure that all the security parameters, policies, procedures, configuration and controls are taken care of during the design and development and implementation phase of the project. We need to proactively get all the security settings done before the project goes live. One key management level change that I personally feel needs to be done is that have CTOs equally responsible for security along with CISOs. That way, eventually, we are making the DevOps team responsible for security by adding security as a key point in their KRAs. It's a cultural change and we are calling it DevSecOps. DevSecOps strives to automate core security tasks by embedding security controls and processes in the DevOps workflow. We are also encompassing more operation-centric controls in the SDLC, like logging and event monitoring, configuration and patch management, user and privilege management, vulnerability assessment, and so on. Coming to the next challenge, one of the most important decisions is to hire a right security partner. It's not practically possible for most of the organizations to manage a security topic on their own. Expert help is a must, and for a variety of reasons. Security is not a small topic. Even in technology, it's a separate science altogether. It's a complex and very dynamic domain. So, DIY concept in this case can prove to be very costly to organizations since the risk in terms of business, finance, and reputation is very high. Even if you have a good in-house cybersecurity team, it's still advisable to have an outside opinion and advice for setting up and managing organization's security landscape. You can have peace of mind by having a trusted partner by your side who has the resources and capabilities to respond the moment a breach occurs. A partner can also help you in choosing the right security tools and take rational decisions in terms of where to spend, how much to spend, since there is virtually no limit as to how much to spend on tools and processes. At times, no matter how much you plan your security investment, the actual expenditure will exceed your security budget. Bottom line is that organizations should focus on their core businesses and they should partly transfer the responsibility of managing security to a third party or a partner. Now our next challenge is the implementation of AI/ML technology by cybercriminals. In order to mitigate potential threats which are faced due to the use of sophisticated methods of AI/ML, organizations need an AI-based security solution which focuses on faster analysis and mitigation of potential threats. For that, we'll need to deploy automated systems and AI-based applications in vulnerability management, network security, and cost-effective equipment management. The next challenge is how we can be sure that our security framework is strong enough to withstand a cyber attack. And for that, we need to test our live environment. The best way to do it, hire a separate red team. Then the penetration testing should not be done by the team who is implementing security for you, since we need a maker-checker system for assessing robustness of our security setup. Now moving further, the new paradigm is that it is given that any organization will get hacked into, irrespective of its industry, company size, company revenue, or even its current security posture. No matter anything, your business is on cyber criminals' radar. Hence, IT governance resilience framework is mandatory for all size and scale of organizations. Organizations need to be sure that they can remediate as swiftly as possible. They should be able to detect, contain, and mitigate an attack and get back to business as soon as possible. And for that, they need to improve their resilience by evaluating the current response readiness and through better strategic planning, preparation, and implementation of programs to achieve the desired state. Developing cyber resilience does not come down to having the perfect incident response tool. More often than not, the companies that struggle with cyber security don't fail because of technology issue. Instead, it's a problem with their people. Employees are the first line of attack. From skill gaps to internal resistance, your workforce can present roadblocks that can potentially break your organization's security. We need to nurture a culture of cyber resilience by team training, threat simulation, and communication plans, thereby ensuring that all the relevant parties from the executive to the technical level understands and support the response plan. Effective, clear, and timely communication are essential elements for ensuring that incident response is swift and appropriate. If only the security team understands and is committed towards security, then the security posture will only get weaker as the company scales. As companies develop to improve their cyber resilience plan, it becomes essential to streamline mean time to know in order to drastically reduce mean time to repair. Coming to the next challenge, in case of a cyber attack, the loss and theft of electronic data can have negative impact on business, including the loss of customers and revenue, and for that an organization needs to transfer the financial and business risk with cyber insurance. Now, IoT security is one of the recent challenges which is picking up very fast. As the adoption of IoT devices is increasing at an unprecedented rate, so are the challenges of cybersecurity. Attacking IoT devices can result in the compromise of sensitive user data. Safeguarding IoT devices is one of the biggest challenges in cybersecurity, as gaining access to these devices can open the doors for other malicious attacks. In order to manage this threat, we need to follow a few simple steps, like enterprise should get a visibility into the exact number of IoT devices connected to the network. Network should be segmented in order to reduce the attack surface. Companies should adopt secure password practices and continue to patch and update firmware when available. Next, the challenge of password attack is the highest in terms of number of attacks. Password protected systems now need additional layers of security, which prevents unidentified access to data. For that, we need risk-based authentication, also known as adaptive authentication. It works by determining the risk of a login attempt by assessing the context using the real-time intelligence like device information, network connection, IP addresses, and so on. Based on this information, it calculates a risk score on the basis of which access is either granted or restricted.
Well, Anis, thank you so much for sharing your time with us today. I got to learn a lot from this interaction, and I'm sure the audience will also get to learn a lot from your conversation. Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot.